What's up, peeps? This is my 1965 C10 short bed, and I recently did a 5.3 LS conversion on it. I put a 350 TBI engine in it a couple years ago, and it finally broke on me there a while back, so I replaced it with this. Just kind of wanted to make a video on what all I did to get this in here. There's a lot of information out there, but there's not a lot of stuff telling you, like for the headers, what headers people are using with what motor mounts, and so on and so forth. These headers, these are these are the Speed Engineering headers off Amazon. They're long tube headers. They're stainless 304. They are, for what I give for them, I think it was $265. These headers are sweet. I mean, they are solid. They are fully TIG welded. They're TIG welded. I mean, you can see here, they're TIG welded inside and out on the flanges, and the insides, they've even ground them. So there's more of a smooth transition on the inside of these tubes, but they are really nice. I didn't have to clearance anything for these headers. They fit perfect in this truck. These headers, I believe, were made for this truck. The motor mounts that I used, these are from Jegs, and they're an ICT. Let me see if I can get down in here. You can't really see them too well. I don't have a flashlight on me, but they're an ICT billet aluminum motor mount. I've got them set the second hole from the front, and to be honest with you, I've got the 700 R4 behind this engine that I had behind my TBI engine, and it almost sat in the exact same spot on the transmission cross member. Let me think, what else was I going to say? The motor mount, not the motor mounts themselves, but the I can't think of the tubular part that goes to the frame. Those were from oh, daggone it, those might have been from Amazon too. I don't think those were, but they're just for a small block Chevy. Nothing special. I think those were like 90 or $100 or something like that. I used them for the 350. They bolted right into this one. This is the truck. I was a little worried about, should I use the truck water pump, or should I use an F-body water pump or a Corvette water pump because of this neck. But I'll be totally honest with you, this one works out way better than what I thought it would. This aluminum radiator, this is an actual LS swap radiator, but it's actually for a 64 to 72, I believe, Chevelle. It's a Griffin radiator. I got that at Jegs. It's actually made for a Chevelle, and the only thing I had to do, only because I've got the battery here, is this had to be the radiator had to be shifted over a little bit. So I had to make brackets on this side here to move this over a little bit. But if that battery hadn't have been there, this probably would have darn near bolted right up. It'd have been close. The hoses I used, that was another thing that I ran into, because when you're doing a swap like this, you can't just go to the parts store and get hoses for this truck for an LS. So I got on O'Reilly's website. I kind of matched up. First I made a wire template, and then I got on their website on the computer, and I kind of matched up several different ones. These are 1.25" on the upper, 1.5" on the lower. This one fit almost perfect. The lower fit almost perfect. I'll have to get the number for the bottom one. I ripped the tape off, but you can see the top number. So I mean, if you're going with the same setup that I went with, these fit almost perfect. Obviously, I'm not done yet. I'm this is still kind of a work in progress. I ran the stock when I first put this TBI engine together. I put a tank in the rear and I ran a stock fuel pump for the TBI engine. Okay. When I took the TBI engine out, I wanted to leave the tank alone. So basically what I did was I went in and I bought a return style regulator and I bumped it down to 6 PSI. It's running into a Street Demon carburetor. I did not have to change the oil pan on it. It's got the stock truck oil pan on it. Let me think what else. These headers are they have 3-inch collectors on them as well. I ran 3-inch exhaust out the back. I went through the rear cross member for the truck arm, the truck arm mount cross member, and then I put Flowmaster 40s on the back, and it sounds nasty. I don't know what cam is in this engine. But it sounds really good compared to what was in there. It sounds really good. So, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of information out there on the LSs, but there's not a lot of stuff if you're wanting a simple, I've got an LS and I want to put it in my truck. What parts work with what? That was the problem I was running into. If I order these motor mounts, are those headers going to work with them? If I do this, is this going to work? So I just kind of had to bite the bullet, and luckily it paid off for me. Everything fit together great. The only spot that I did have to clearance, and I will say this, I did have to clearance on the passenger side, the bell housing on the transmission. I did have to clearance that only about a 1/2 inch. And the only other issue that I see is with these, I had to cut this boot a little bit right here to fit so it wouldn't rub up against that header. But other than that, I mean, I can't complain about it. It's fitting in really good. So if you guys got any questions, just shoot something to me. And if I think of anything else, I'll put up another video. Once I get it all wrapped up, I'll do a video of how it sounds and how the exhaust note is with those headers and that exhaust. But it's really nice. It's a lot better than what it was. So I hope this video helps you out. Thanks.